Welcome back to Sawtooth Tactical. We have good news regarding the NFA for like the first time ever. Maybe not the first time ever, but the first time in a long time. And if you wanted to get a suppressor, but you didn't want to wait a frickin' year to get it, well, right now is probably your chance. I need to get my tax return so that I can file a few more. And I'm going to explain why. As long as you're subscribed, even if you're not, follow this video. Good things are happening. When it comes to the NFA, I have talked about it extensively in videos. The worst part, literally, and all of it's bad, except for actual NFA items, they're awesome. But the whole $200 tax stamp, the waiting and waiting and then waiting some more, that's almost the worst part. And it makes a lot of people not want to get NFA items like suppressors. Short-barreled rifles, Form 1s, if you turn a pistol into an SBR, don't usually take quite as long as a Form 4 to buy an SBR or to buy a suppressor. But even that's a wait that we shouldn't have to deal with. But it really sucks to pay for a suppressor and then wait up to 11 months, which is how long this one took. Some people have waited over a year for their Form 4 to be approved, which to me, there's absolutely no excuse for that. And it's pretty ridiculous. Well, all of a sudden, we're seeing much shorter approval times. I don't know about you guys, but I've had my bank account hacked 3 times just in the last year. I get spam calls all the time. I've had to get new debit cards because it's been such a problem. And that's why I am partnering with Aura. I'm pretty careful about not putting my information out there, but I Googled my email address and there was still tons of stuff about me. Luckily, a lot of it was Sawtooth Tactical. Data brokers literally have all of your information, your full name, your email, your home address, and those of your family, and they sell them to scammers, spammers, and anyone else who might want to target you. That's why I'm using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are using my information and selling it, and automatically submits opt-out requests on my behalf. Check out how many data brokers Aura found that were selling my information. Cleaning up my information helps reduce the amount of spam phone calls and stuff like that I get, and it also protects me from hackers that could use this information to access my social media, bank accounts, or other sensitive information. And Aura does so much more to protect me and my family from threats that I can't even see. Aura is very easy to set up. I don't have to download several different apps for things like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and more. I can get it all in one place for one affordable price. You might already have one or two of these tools, but not having Aura is like locking the front door, but leaving the back door wide open. Aura is always on, doing the hard work so that I can focus on other things like building this YouTube channel or whatever else that I want to deal with instead of protecting my own personal privacy. I value my privacy and I value yours. You can go to aura.com/sawtooth-tactical to get your own 2-week free trial. I'll have a link down below in the description. I'm a member of a lot of gun groups on Facebook. Some specifically NFA groups, other ones that are, just all about, mid-tier guns, mid-tier rifle builders, things like that. Meal Team 6, big shout out. That's probably my favorite group. Those guys are awesome. In fact, they were a big inspiration for this build and the way I put it together. Those guys know what they're talking about. They know what they're doing, which is really cool. It's good to find a place to learn on the internet. Because that's literally how I've learned just about everything about guns. And it's why I started this channel, is to help other people learn these things. But that is neither here nor there and not really the point of this video. The point of this video is that all of a sudden, I'm seeing very fast approvals for suppressors. Now, again, this is something that it turns a lot of people off to the NFA thing. And I know that the $200 tax stamp does as well. But when you pay for a suppressor that costs, $600, $700, $1,000, $1,200, and then you put a $200 tax stamp on top of that, That sucks by itself. But then when you got to pay for some item and then you might not get to see it, you might not get to take it home and use it for a year, that really sucks. Well, all of a sudden, I've been seeing these wait times. At first, it was like a month and a half, 2 months. All of a sudden, I'm seeing wait times that are just a couple of weeks. Today, I've been seeing people that have gotten their suppressor back in 3 days. One guy that got his back in 5 hours. I mean, I've had regular 4473s that have taken longer than that. So, if you've been thinking about getting a suppressor, I would go for it right now. Now, I am not saying that it's a guarantee because I put in for my OCL Polonium K for my 5.56 guns on January 10th. Well, it's been 6 weeks since January 10th, 7 weeks. And I don't have that back yet. But compared to 11 months, I mean, if I get it this month, I'll be stoked. Even if I get it next month. Because when I did the application and certified it, I expected to wait between 8 and 12 months because that's what I've been used to. But all of a sudden, that might not be the case. And what it's making me want to do is to get more suppressors started because there's a thing called batch approval. And that's what I've been seeing with a lot of these people is that if you have multiple suppressors that you've applied for tax stamps for, well, when your name comes up and they go to approve one, they're just going to approve all of your pending tax stamps. And so then you might get, 3 suppressors back at once, however many that you're waiting on approvals for. And so right now I only have 1 in there, but Whip Machine and Tool has said that they are going to send me one of their Mod 1 Naughty 9 suppressors for my AR9 to test out and, do some videos about. So hopefully that shows up soon. I can start the Form 4 on that one. I've also been thinking about getting other 30 cal and 9mm suppressors. I think right now is the time to do it. And although I don't really have the money for a bunch of suppressors right now, I do think that it makes sense to take advantage of the fact that they're coming through really quickly. Now, I don't know if this is going to be just a thing going forward. If the ATF has all of a sudden finally figured it out, because they were supposed to be doing 90-day tax stamp approvals like 2 years ago or whatever, and that never really happened. But now all of a sudden I'm seeing them coming back in less than 90 days. So maybe they finally got this thing figured out. I don't know. And if that's true, and maybe that's how it'll just be going forward, well, that is good news for all of us. Now, don't get me wrong, I still think that the whole NFA is unconstitutional. Having to pay a tax stamp and get an approval at all just for something that makes your gun quieter is pretty ridiculous to me. But the worst part of it was that wait, at least for me. And I know that it was for a lot of other people. So maybe this is what we'll see going forward. Maybe this is just a temporary thing and all of a sudden people are getting approved very quickly. And if so, I do think that it makes sense if you were on the fence about getting a suppressor to maybe go for it. I mean, if you don't have a whole lot of money saved up, you can get something like this Whip Machine and Tool Dirty 30. This with the tax stamp is $500. It's a $300 suppressor. There are other really good options that are relatively affordable as well. Aero Precision with the Lahar 30. I've heard really good things about that suppressor. All the Whip Machine and Tool cans are relatively affordable. Actually, they're very affordable as far as suppressors go. Yankee Hill Machine makes pretty affordable suppressors. Griffin Armament. There's a lot of them that you can get that don't cost you a whole lot of money. And so if you were thinking about getting a suppressor, but you didn't want to deal with that dang wait time, and I've always said the best time to get a suppressor is yesterday, and that's because of the wait time. Well, the best time to get a suppressor might be right now. And so I just wanted to let my viewers know, if you are on the fence about getting a suppressor because of that wait time, I would go for it. And honestly, I think I'm going to get some more in the queue right away because maybe I'll get that batch approval. And when they go to approve my Polonium K, maybe I'll get some others at the same time. That would be a really good day. And if you guys maybe have one already in the queue, maybe get a couple more going. I don't know. But one of the big things I think that with getting these things eventually unregulated is to get them in common use. The more people that have them, the more they're in common use, the easier it'll be to eventually get them maybe off of the NFA altogether. And so if you don't have to wait for them, it makes that easier to make that decision for you to get a suppressor, to get more of them in people's hands, to get them into more common use. I say go for it. Let me know in the comments if you have gotten one of these quick approvals, because I've been seeing lots of them. And or let me know if you've been waiting for months and months and months, and like me, you're kind of going, why haven't I not gotten that email yet? Why is everyone else so lucky? But I want to know, and if you're planning on getting a suppressor, let me know that down in the comments as well. Because like I said, I just think this is the time to do it. And I know I keep saying that, but I want to hear from you guys. I really enjoy interacting with you guys. I answer every comment. Make sure you subscribe to Sawtooth Tactical. And from Sawtooth Tactical, stay strapped or get clapped.